Now we hit Vulgar Display of Power, what's considered pretty much the absolute fan favorite album from the band. Came out in 1992, almost when metal's about to die out, and the artwork is very classic. It features, I believe, Dimebag or just some random person getting fucking jacked in the face. And that's what it feels like throughout this entire album. It feels like you're just getting punch after punch after punch in the fucking face. Each song is so heavy and brutal, while also being streamlined. It's a lot less thrash, and a lot more their own unique style that's hard to explain. It was completely new for its time. A lot of people give Pantera this whole bad rep that they're kind of fake because they went from glam to this. But you have to give them props that they did something new. They did more than just copy other bands or styles. I mean, if you don't like the style, they did do something different. They did start the whole groove metal thing. So they went a lot more groovy and a lot more, I guess, bare bones. Kind of like a lot of metal albums at the time. They were streamlining stuff. These guys decided to go even heavier, but just streamlined the songwriting to where it's quicker, it's more brutal, it's more to the point, and it's heavier overall. This is where everyone really started to show their own styles. The bass playing is a lot more prevalent and a lot more groovy. The guitar riffs are a lot more technical and a lot more noise making. And Phil's vocals are starting to get less falsetto, more gruff, more punchy. And the lyrics are very, very, very timeless. It's easy to see why this is considered the best Pantera album of all time. I disagree, but I do consider it the second best. Let's get into one of my favorite tracks on the album, Mouth for War. One of the first singles for the album is a very epic, kick-ass song. It goes straight into a really epic riff that goes right into like a crazy new style Pantera riff that's very groovy and has a lot of sound effects and harmonics and stuff like that. And right when Phil comes with Revenge, it shows a revitalized, renewed Phil Anselmo that's going to go for more of a gruff style that will completely influence a lot of bands after. Absolute classic song, a fantastic way to start this album. I've always loved this song. Then we go to A New Level, which has a lot of fantastic groovy riffs to it. I absolutely love the verse riff because it reminds me a lot of like Meshuggah and stuff like that. It's just such a great breakneck riff. And I love how it just quickly goes right into the slow groove of the chorus. Then we have the absolute classic and kind of overrated song, but still classic, Walk, which is mostly just a groove the entire time. It has kind of the same riff, but it's a great catchy riff. But what's mostly important about the song, like Peace Sells, but Who's Buying, the lyrics are both of the time, written for the time, but also timeless. The whole song is about avoiding the crowds and staying as yourself as opposed to wanting to be part of the cool kids and stuff like that. And then Motherfucking Hostile is an absolute crazy song. I mean, right away you just hear the count in 1, 2, 3, 4, and that goes right into a fucking insane riff. And the entire song is crazy. The changes are really fast, and I absolutely love the chorus. It's so damn catchy, and it just goes right at the very end to where you hear him say Motherfucking Hostile, and it's just so crazy. Like, was that already the verse and chorus? It reminds me of the opening tracks of the next two albums, which are just really fast, right off the bat, really heavy, and they could have started the album with this way, but nah, they decided to go for Mouth for War. Then one of the best, creepiest, darkest songs in the album, This Love. And before I forget, I want to mention kind of an interesting thing that not a lot of people know. The very first-person shooter game is known as Doom, and a lot of the tracks on that game are actually 8-bit versions of heavy metal songs at the time, and I believe the main theme of the game is like an 8-bit version of This Love, and I think another track is even Mouth for War. So they actually, borrowed a lot of heavy metal songs at the time, which is pretty damn cool. So another hit single, it's kind of like the epic ballad, but this time around it's really dark and groovy, and I love the way that Phil sings in this song, especially in the melodic parts. And I love the way that at the very end of the first chorus, after he bleeds out the This Love, and they go back into the verse groove, it sounds just so damn catchy, that groove. It sounds like way more catchy and way groovier than before. And the guitar solo, I love how they played over the verse riff again. That groove mixed with that southern catchy guitar solo is just so fucking perfect. Although I've always felt that the song is just kind of too long. A lot of the ending parts are just kind of dragged on. It goes with a lot of doomy stuff for no reason. but still a fantastic song. Then we get to what a lot of people kind of consider the weaker parts of the album. We start with Rise, which is, I believe, an anti-racial tension song, because during this time there's some racial tensions and shit like that. This song is about, like, rising up against racial tension, just uniting as one. And it's a very, very catchy, kick-ass song. In my opinion, kind of one of the weaker songs, but it is very heavy and badass. I do love the chorus. Then we have another anti-racial tension song. Funny, because a lot of people say Phil Anselmo is racist because of the whole white power thing, which I'll get into that right now. I personally always felt, even the day that happened, I was like, you know what, Phil has a lot of songs that he wrote about against racial tension. He honestly, even though he's Southern Louisiana stuff and maybe even said some dumb stuff in the past, I never felt that the guy was racist, and I could tell that because he was so drunk off his ass, it's not like he said how he really felt. I think he said it because he thought it would be funny or something. But I would also feel bad for people who did get offended by that. You know, he shouldn't have done that in the first place. I'm not saying it was okay for him to say that. But I do not think it's okay for idiots like Rob Flynn to do hypocritical shit like make a big video slamming him and then be in pictures with the guys from Slayer doing the fucking Sieg Heil. So No Good Attack the Radical, another really cool song. What's interesting though is for the verse to kind of give that almost different type of race stuff going on. He does it like a rap or something at the beginning to kind of give that like black music, and then it goes right into the heavy metal parts of the chorus, which is more, you know, the white boy southern music. Then we have another really crazy song, Live in a Hole, which just starts right away with the really heavy, just palm muted, open E chord riff over and over. Then it goes to this really disgusting, evil riff, and it kind of goes between those two riffs throughout most of the song. I've always loved the chorus of this song, the way that Phil just kind of belts out the vocals along with that heavy riff. Then we have my absolute favorite Pantera song of all time, Regular People Conceit. Right away, from like just right after the build-up, it goes right into one of the absolute greatest riffs ever created. It's just so crazy and technical. And then it goes right into like a really badass groove. There's so many great parts of the song. I love the way how Phil does the shy kind of weak vocal again, like he did on This Love for the first part of the verse. Then it goes right into like a really badass harsh groove. And I love how the song kind of has two choruses. The "Who do you think you are?" and the guitar solo is fucking fantastic. I absolutely adore this song. Then we have the song By Demons Be Driven, which made an appearance in a recent movie, The Big Short, and it's kind of drawn a lot of attention to this song, which is weird because it's such a deep cut. This song isn't as great, but I do absolutely love the riffs that are in it because it's so catchy, but it's just kind of the same two things over and over and over, and I never really liked the chorus, especially where he keeps saying that weird thing over and over. I think he's saying, back on the call, back on the call. That's what I always heard him say. It sounds so fucking weird. Then we have the last song on the album, Hollow, which is like the ballady type of song. It's really beautiful, and it's more short to the point than, say, Cemetery Gates. And then it gets really heavy at the end. It's really catchy and badass. Another fantastic song, a great one at the end of the album. So that's Vulgar Display of Power. Very fantastic album in my opinion. But for a lot of people that hate Pantera and their sound and what they've done legacy-wise, this is really where it starts the point of bashing as opposed to Cowboys from Hell, because like I said, it just doesn't really sound like the Pantera sound and the influential sound that a lot of people bash on. Bash Vulgar, not Cowboys, but I'm going to give Vulgar a 9.5 out of 10.